The Alpha Sessions with Emma Joyce.
Well, we're here on the Alpha Sessions, and I'm Emma, and I'm here with BLÁNID. Hello. BLÁNID.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. So there's loads to discuss, but the first thing is you've just released your debut single this year, am I right?
I have. So to give it its full title, it's Dragosta Dinte and then brackets Numa Numa, because it's a cover of a kind of Europop hit back in 2003, which I love. And so in Romanian it's Dragosta Dinte, but everyone knows it because of the chorus just went Numa Numa. So I thought I'd shove that in the title as well, so people would know what it was.
Now I've had listened to this, and you've totally done your own take on the version, and if you wouldn't have said that, I would have just thought, oh, it's a coincidence, it's a similar title, but probably not even picked up the fact that it was a cover of the song. What was it that made you want to do that?
Well, so I used to love that song when I was younger, and I'd play it all the time and kind of sing along, even though it's all in Romanian and I didn't know what it meant. And then when I started performing, I was like, I'm actually gonna do it for real because I really like it. And I looked at what the lyrics meant, and they were really beautiful, and there's an English version of it as well. And so I thought, and so whenever I started performing it, I got a really good reaction from it, and people seemed to really like it. So I thought, why not use that one, like to kind of put me out there, put me on the map.
So what was it that kind of inspired you to take the song in that direction?
I think I tend to do that with a lot of different songs. Like, I think especially with pop songs, so much of the time the melody in them is actually really beautiful, and it's covered up with a load of like synth and kind of bass. And so I just wanted to strip it back down to what it actually was, because the lyrics in the chorus are, "You want to leave, but you don't want to take me with you." And I thought, like, those lyrics are beautiful, like it deserved more of an emotional song, even though the original was a banger. So.
So you strip it back and make it sound like quite raw.
Yeah, exactly. I love doing that with songs. Whenever I do a cover, I usually do try and find like the emotion in it and try and connect with that and bring it out while still retaining an element of the original.
What was it that made you decide that now's the time to release the single?
So I think it probably coincided with me moving to London. I was in kind of the countryside before. And
where were you before that?
I was in Newbury, so in Berkshire, and then before that was Oxford. Yeah, so I think moving to London was a big decision for me in terms of saying this is, I want to do singing, songwriting, as my full time. That's my aim, and London's the place where I need to be. So when I moved, I started trying to get myself some studio time. So that song's the first time I've recorded in studio. So
you would not know that. It sounds amazing. You would not know that. It sounds amazing.
Thank you very much.
It's me, your duke. I made something that's real to show you how I feel. Hello, hello. It's me, Picasso. Will paint my words of love and your name on every wall. Raise up, lift, I don't know, man, no, my, no, man, no, my, no, man, no, man, no, my, keep on, she Dragosta Dinte, mi amintesc că eu ghidai. I sold my strings, my song. because I will paint my words of love and your name on every wall. Raise up, start no man, no my, no man, no my, no man, no man, no my, keep on. She drag a sled and take. Ja, min test är jag i dig. When you leave, my colors fade to gray. All I want to stay, or all my colors fade away. Everywhere of love I used to say. Now I paint it every day. Raise a pledge, start on my, no my, no man, no my, no man, no man, no my, keep down. She drag a sled in tail. Ja, min test är jag i dig. Raise a pledge, start on my, no my, no man, no my, no man, no man, no my, keep down. She drag a sled in tail. Ja, min test är jag i dig. Maja hi, maja hu, maja ha, maja ha, maja hi, maja hu, maja ha, maja
The Alpha Sessions with Emma Joyce.
What did you need to do, so for like new singer-songwriters, what did you need to do for yourself and what did you need to do to get to this point?
I think it's probably a combination of different things. Like, I mean, for me, songwriting was something that's and still is quite new to me. So I started off as a covers artist and in kind of traditional folk. And I never thought that writing music was for me. I didn't think that, I thought it was kind of like an innate ability, and I thought either have it or you don't, and I don't have it. And then recently I started writing my own stuff, and when I performed at gigs I got a good reaction. So hopefully I'll release those later, but that, the songwriting side of that was a really long journey for me. And then in terms of like singing and performing, I think probably my advice to people would be is just keep going and keep getting out there, and live performances are really important, because connecting with your audience and knowing what they like is great. And whether, you know, that's on a live performance on Instagram or something now, or, you know, when we get back to normal and gigs are the norm, just getting that performing experience and remembering why you do what you do and how you love it. Because sometimes I think it can be a little difficult or, you know, tricky to separate it from the numbers, like, oh, this many followers or this or this or this. And it's about reconnecting and remembering why you're doing it in the first place. It's just because, you know, you love the music. So.
And what was it, do you think, that made you want to persevere with the writing side of things?
I mean, it was something that I'd always wanted to be able to do. And I had tried writing in the past, and it wasn't anything that I was happy with. And then the first song that I wrote that I was happy with was around probably 6 or 7 months ago. And it felt like it kind of dropped out of the sky into my lap, and I was like, God, yeah, that one sounds okay, that one sounds pretty good. And so when I'd written a couple, I contacted, I was already in contact with BBC Radio Kent to do a live session, and they said, you know, we need you to have original material. And when I'd written those songs, they said, you know, what do you think of these? And they really liked it and got me on to do a live session. So that as well was a real kind of boost to know that like the music that I'd written was good and people liked it. So that was a real encouragement for me to carry on writing.
Because you've had some amazing reviews from them and also from Floy Vance. How does that feel? Yeah,
it feels really good. Like, I mean, I definitely have to shout out to the guys at BBC Radio Kent again. Like the comments and stuff that they've given me and the support that they've given me has just been amazing. And it was definitely a hugely surreal experience playing live on air and having those comments. And when I was in performing, my family like were on WhatsApp being like, yeah, you're doing great and stuff. It was just surreal knowing that it was just kind of me in a room, but knowing that however many hundreds of people were listening. So yeah.
I won't be afraid to say thousands, but yes. You also play a selection of instruments. Which one came first?
So piano, I've been playing for a long time. I started off doing that. So when I was at uni, I had a keyboard, and so I would accompany myself with that. Then I wanted to try and learn the guitar, and I have quite small hands, so I found it really difficult at first. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start smaller and go with the ukulele. So I started using that, performing that at gigs. And then I really wanted just like a fuller sound when I was performing. And although the keyboard is great, like guitar just does have something like that piano doesn't have, and also vice versa. So I thought it'd be good if I could learn the both. So I got a guitar late last year, and
so you graduated.
So I graduated. Graduated from piano
to the guitar.
And been playing that, and I added that to my repertoire, which is
so the singing came first, then the piano, then the ukulele, then the guitar, kind of like an educational ladder of music.
Yes, exactly.
So obviously, we're all in lockdown at the moment, or what we're calling lockdown. How are you spending it, and have you discovered any new music whilst you've been isolated?
Good question. So I have been spending my lockdown doing a kind of series of quarantine covers. So like songs that I think have, either an uplifting message, or they're just ones that I like and are kind of happy. So I've been doing that, which has been really cool, because in doing that, it's allowed me to do kind of and develop different skills. So the stuff that I have Logic, so like an audio workstation that I work with. And before I was just doing really basic stuff, but during this time I've been able to, teach myself about sampling and stuff like that, which is kind of just the basics of production, but it's been really helpful. And new music, I would say, really just like discovering how many other artists are out there on Instagram, because I think loads of artists have gone into like overdrive, now, because obviously we don't have gigging. So it's been really great, like seeing all the people that I kind of already knew or followed on Instagram, just like the amount of great content they're producing.
Well, the truth, it fell so heavy like a hammer through the room that I could choose another over her. You always said I was an actor, babe. I guess in truth you just thought me amateur. That you never saw the signs, that you never lost your grip. Such a childish claim. Now I wear the brand of traitor. Don't it seem a bit absurd when it's clear I was so obviously framed? When it's clear I was so obviously framed. Surprised to hear what you already know, when all you really had to do was ask. I'd have told you straight away all those lies were true, and all that was false was fact. Now you hold me close and hard, but I was like a statue at most, refusing to acknowledge you'd been hurt. Now you're clawing at my throat, and you're crying all is lost, and your tears, they fell so hot upon my shirt. And your tears, they fell so hot upon my shirt. Well, the truth, it fell so heavy like a hammer through the room that I could choose another over her. You always said I was an actor, babe. I guess in truth you just thought me amateur. Was it you who told me once, now looking back it seems so real, that all our mistakes are merely graces before the meal? So why is it now, after I've had my fill, you would steal from me the sorrow that I've earned? Shall we call this a lesson learned? Shall we call this a lesson learned?
The Alpha Sessions with Emma Joyce.
In terms of writing your music, are there any artists that you would say are influences to your style?
Yeah, definitely. Leonard Cohen is a big influence of mine. I absolutely love his stuff. A Welsh artist called Novo Amor, who, I went to see him last year in Union Chapel, which is an amazing venue.
Gorgeous venue.
Yeah, I know, one of my favourites.
Such a great venue.
Yeah, and I love all of his stuff. It's very, it's quite abstract music, I like in his lyrics, but it all just.
What's he called again?
Novo Amor, so it means, I think it means new love in Portuguese.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I love his stuff. Jeff Buckley is definitely an inspiration to me as well. The way that he kind of transcends genre when he writes. He doesn't really care what it is he's singing or what it is he's creating. It's just what he feels is right. So that's an inspiration for me too.
Is that kind of how you write as well? Have you taken on that style, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely like to experiment with a lot of different things when I write and just try and see what comes out. Often, if I'm listening to a particular sort of music, it will filter through, and then a couple of weeks or months later, when I'm writing, I recognize elements of it coming through. So yeah.
Kind of happens in your subconscious without you realizing.
Exactly.
What about favourite artists that you haven't necessarily been influenced by, but you just enjoy listening to day to day? If you had a current playlist, what would be on that?
I think an artist that I always go back to and listen to a lot, but who hasn't really influenced me, is probably Lord Huron.
Oh.
So he kind of shot to fame, I think, on from that Netflix show, I think 13 Reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
To my shame, I can't remember the exact name of the Netflix show. Yeah, he shot to fame because one of his songs was used on that. It's called The Night We Met. And so it was kind of came up on my Spotify and I was like, oh, what's this? And then just deep dived into all
It's funny how that happens, isn't it?
Yeah. So I really love his stuff.
And before we went into lockdown, you were gigging quite a lot. Do you have a favourite venue?
Ooh. Probably. I think probably my favourite venues. I think the Harrison. So
the one in King's Cross.
Yeah. I think just because it feels so intimate, and because the audience are so close to you as well, you can get that real close connection with them. And also from an aesthetic point of view, there's a great velvet curtain behind, and everything feels like a little kind of cozy club bar venue from like another era. So yeah,
feels like you're in someone's living room from another era a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Also noticed that you have got a TikTok link on your Instagram page.
I do.
I was wondering how you're finding it, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite scared of it.
So I love TikTok. Yeah, it makes me laugh so much. All the different kind of all the content out there is, and the level of talent of people is insane. Um, what I am struggling with is how to I guess what content I should put out there, because it's definitely a different medium. And the thing about TikTok is it's whereas Instagram's like very curated, and you're saying this is who I want to be and this is how I want to present myself. TikTok's definitely the unfiltered version. It's just like anything you say goes. So I guess it's kind of thinking for me what exactly I want to put out there, and how I want to be perceived, I guess. But yeah, I love it. I mean, the most random stuff goes viral on there, so it's great to see.
How have you found like social media during lockdown? Have you found that you've been on it more, on it less?
Definitely on it more. I think Instagram, especially, I think that's where the majority of my audience are. So that's kind of where I've focused my time. And I've grown my following quite a lot during lockdown. So I think I started lockdown with around 500 or 550 or something like that followers, and I'm now on 2.8 thousand. So just through kind of like doing those covers and stuff. So for me, it's actually been a super useful time to focus on growing my social media following, and kind of getting that engaged fan base that is on a more like worldwide basis as well. So it's nice to see people from different countries liking my music too.
Because you can get those stats on Instagram, can't you? That says like who from what country is engaged in your posts and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. If you've got a business account, you can just switch from personal to business super easy, and it just tells you like where your followers are and kind of who likes your stuff. So yeah.
Well, you've got a stunning voice. So I'm looking forward to hearing the session. But I was just wondering, what's next for you? What are you working on? What can we expect coming up next?
So at the minute, I'm working on a couple of different things. So covers, like I said, is definitely I want to do a few more of those and kind of engage with people and make the most of this time when I have a bit of downtime to kind of do that sort of stuff without being caught up in the everyday kind of madness. And then with my own material, I would love to get that properly recorded in a studio. So at the minute, it's kind of working on those to take them from a demo stage to where I want them to be, and thinking about all the different things I'd like to add. And then when lockdown is eased or over, find that producer that I think that can really bring them to life for me.
Cool. And if people want to find out more about you, where can they go? What can they do?
So probably the best place to find out / contact me is on Instagram, so at I am BLÁNID, or there's stuff on my website as well if you want to read a little bit more about me at www.blanid.co.uk.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, or coming on Zoom. And hopefully when all the social distancing stuff is not a thing anymore, then you can come down to the studio and we can do it in a much more intimate setting.
Definitely, I would love that.
Cool. Well, thank you again, and thanks for lending us your time. Bye.
No, thank you so much. Bye.
You return like blossoms in the springtime. He seeks the wildness he was dormant for. He wants to grab your mane and travel eastward. You've given all you can, but he wants more. He says, Mustang girl, oh, I want you. Mustang girl, do you feel the same? Mustang girl, I've heard it said you can't be tamed. Mustang girl, how I love to. Mustang girl, watch you drive. Mustang girl, take me with you when you ride to the morning light. I've found out satisfaction of desire fills not the hunger of a wanting heart. To love another is an art that's higher. I tell them it's an opus I won't start. Still they say, Mustanger, I still want you. Mustanger, oh please, just one night. Mustanger, why must you leave before it's light? Mustanger, let me heal you. Mustanger, with my hands. Mustanger, you can love me when we reach my promised land. He speaks like this, it's wisdom handed to him. He sighs with many years he's not yet lived, exhausted by the innocence he has created. He waits for your surrender to be his. Oh, tired man, you think you want me. Tired man, you hold my gaze. Tired man, I implore you, look away. Tired man, do not love me. Don't you see, I was not made for tired men to try and hold me. I was not made to be saved.